On y'all, this is boy Kev coming to you with another video. I'm gonna look at this be my first look at college football this year. I know it's week 11 in the college football season, but want to look at the top six teams and look at their games that's coming up this weekend. First, want to start with the standings. Of course, you already know them by now. If you follow college football, tops. I'm gonna only look at the top six. The college football rankings, top six. Of course, Alabama's number one. Clemson, number two. Notre Dame moves up from number four to number three. Michigan moves up from number five to number four. Georgia is at five, and Oklahoma is at number six. Of course, LSU was at number three last week. Tough loss to Alabama. The offense really couldn't get anything going. Defense played, I think, probably the best game they could play against that Alabama offense. But when your offense can't do anything, and our defense keeps coming back out on the field tired, and and all that. I mean, that's when you give up big plays. You give up touchdown passes. You give up a 50-yard touchdown run. I mean, that game showed why Ohio State made the right decision to go with Dwayne Haskins over Joe Burrow. Hey, no offense, I'm just saying. But Alabama's got a tough. We're going to start with Alabama. We're going to look at the games for the top six teams in America right now. Alabama has a tough game coming up against Mississippi State. They will be at home, so it's going to be I believe they'll win this game, but it's going to be a tough fight. It's going to be a tough game. Nick Fitzgerald, probably one of the best one of the better running quarterbacks in the nation. Of course, kind of reminds you of Tim Tebow. I think he broke Tim Tebow's record. He broke a record in the SEC for most rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. Something like that. He broke a record as far as running quarterback. As far as a running quarterback's concerned, something like that. But it's going to be a tough contest for Alabama. They should still probably win pretty comfortably though. Alabama, the best team in the nation. I mean, of course, really, I don't know. I mean, of course, the Iron Bowl is coming up. Obviously, that's always a tough game. I don't see anything in the regular season. Of course, the SEC championship. They clinched the SEC West last week in beating LSU. Now they will have another meeting with Georgia in the SEC championship game, rematch of the national championship last year. That's going to be the toughest game on the schedule. That's the only game I see standing in the way of Alabama being in the college football playoff once again. For every year since its inception. Now on to Clemson, number two team in the nation. They have a tough test. They have a really tough test going on the road to Boston College, number 17 in the nation. Saturday night primetime game for ABC, I believe. It's going to be tough. Trevor Lawrence has looked really good. I mean, it really surprised me when Dabo Swinney went with Lawrence, and of course that led to Kelly Bryant wanting to transfer. Hope he comes to Mizzou. Maybe not after he was there for that Kentucky loss though. Ooh. But I put Clemson on upset alert this week. I mean, you've seen it 1,000 times when you got a top team in America that goes on the road in a conference matchup, especially on a prime time. In a primetime game, in primetime environment, it's always tough. But I think Clemson will still come out with the victory in this one. Number three, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They will be without their quarterback Ian Book this week. They say he had a rib injury. He will not play in the game. Brandon Wimbush, who started the year, will play in Book's absence. Of course, Wimbush was benched for Book early in the season. Was at the first 3 games. Books came on. He's looked really good. He's added a better passing element, kind of like Trevor Lawrence did for Clemson. A better passing element, and Notre Dame's offense has looked a lot better the last several weeks. But again, Book is out. Wimbush is in. I still think that it should be no problem for them. They're at home, primetime setting against a bad Florida State team. Willie Taggart, I thought you could do better than this, man. I really thought you could. Yeah, I see Notre Dame rolling in this one. They got got 2 other big games coming up. They face Syracuse next week, and then they have USC to finish the year like always. For Notre Dame, it's going to be tough. I mean, Notre Dame can't afford to lose because, of course, you know that Notre Dame doesn't have it's independent. Notre Dame is independent. They don't have a conference that they play for. No conference championship. I mean, obviously, if Notre Dame wins out, they should be in. I mean, you had the big win over Michigan early in the year. You got to win over Stanford. You got to win over who am I thinking of? You got to win over Virginia Tech on the road. Always a difficult place to play. Michigan wins out. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Notre Dame wins out. They're definitely in my opinion. Now it's number 4, Michigan Wolverines. I think this is the highest they've been since Jim Harbaugh's been there. Their defense is stout, like as they've always been. And, Harbaugh's finally got a quarterback in Shea Patterson. It's really great to see. Again, they're number 4. And, again, if they went out, they definitely – they had a Big Ten championship game coming up. I think they have a great chance this year against Ohio State. They have Rutgers coming up this week. Unless Ray Rice and Greg Schiano are walking through that door for Rutgers, I don't think it's going to be a problem for the Wolverines. But again, they have to. They're on the road. They have to, keep that mindset. You can't walk in. You can't walk into a game, especially on the road. Thinking you can get a victory because the home team will come out and just smack you in the mouth. They get their fans behind them, and anything can happen. But I think Michigan. Is on their stuff this year. They'll beat Rutgers, and then there's another game coming up against Indiana before the big showdown against Ohio State. Again, I think this is Michigan's best chance. It'll be on the road again. They'll be in Ohio in the shoe, but I think this is Michigan's best chance ever of knocking off Urban Meyer and the Buckeyes. And of course, that would finish their revenge tour. I forget his name on defense. Thor, I call him Thor because we got the golden locks coming out the back of the helmet. But he deemed it was a redemption tour. They beaten the top teams that beat them last year. They beat Michigan State. They beat Penn State. They beat Wisconsin, and of course, Ohio State is the icing on the cake. Of course, the biggest rivalry in all college football. If they beat Ohio State, man, that will cap off the revenge tour. And then they have the Big Ten championship game coming up. If they win that, they're definitely in. I just can't wait. I would just love to see Jim Harbaugh and Michigan in. I've been a closet Michigan fan, but they got a real nice kid from the Kansas City area. I can forget his name, receiver out of Park Hill. I just still can't believe he was going to play basketball at a D2 school with the season he had last year, but Michigan picked him up, so I've been rooting him on. But yeah, Michigan against Rutgers, yeah, Michigan should win easily. Now the two teams looking into the college football playoff top 4. Number 5, Georgia Bulldogs. They have a really tough test at home this week against the Auburn Tigers, number 24 in the nation, Gus Malzahn, Jarrett Stidham, all that other stuff. Obviously, Georgia had the bad loss to LSU a couple weeks ago, but Jake Fromm really answered the bell the last couple games. There was talks about playing the backup quarterback Fields, but Fromm, he's put that to bed. Hey, Fromm's like, hey, it's my team, sophomore quarterback. Big time. He's been big time. He's gonna have to be big time in this game too. Of course, Auburn's always tough. They haven't been what they've been in years past with Malzahn, but always tough. Again, it's always tough in your conference. Always tough, a tough matchup in your conference. I think Georgia will win this game. I don't think Georgia has too much to worry about. They have UMass and they have Georgia Tech, the rivalry game. And then, of course, they have the rematch against Alabama in the SEC Championship. But, other than that, they should get through the last 3 games of the year undefeated. But again, they would have to. I'm sorry, I was going to say they would have to slip up, but they would if they beat Bama, they're definitely in the top 4 in the SEC championship game. But if they didn't, they would have to have maybe a Notre Dame slip up or a Clemson slip up for them to have a chance at getting in the top 4 if they don't beat Alabama in the SEC championship game. Last but not least, we have the 6th team in the nation, the Oklahoma Sooners, who have bounced back from the Red River rivalry loss to the Texas Longhorns. They've put up 50 the last 3 weeks. They had a tough game with Texas Tech last week, but they pulled it out. Kyler Murray, Heisman in the Heisman conversation. Of course, Tua is the favorite, but Murray's in the conversation. He'll be playing minor league baseball next year, but he's been really good for the Sooners this season, like they thought, replacing Baker Mayfield, the Heisman Trophy winner. Bedlam will ensue in Norman, Oklahoma this weekend. They face Oklahoma State. Again, Oklahoma State, not what they used to be in years past. Oklahoma State's put up a good fight this year, but, still shouldn't be anything for Oklahoma to worry about. Oklahoma's the lone representative of the Big 12 in the college football rankings right now. Of course, Oklahoma made it last year to the playoff. Big 12 did bring back the conference championship game, which helped the Big 12 conference out a lot. But again, they're at number 6, so they would definitely have to see at least 2 of the teams lose in front of them to have a shot at actually getting in the top 4. Again, I see them winning here. Again, definitely see them winning against Kansas. And then they have basically the Big 12 championship game against West Virginia looked really good last week. I think the West Virginia's game against Texas last week was the game of the week as far as all games last week, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, Oklahoma with an advantage at home in Bedlam against the Oklahoma State team, who's not been as good as the years past. But yeah, I believe every team in the top 6 this week in the college football playoff rankings should get a W this week. The only team I will put on upset alert this week would be the number 2 Clemson Tigers going into Boston College. Again, conference game on the road, tough environment, prime time. It's always tough. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose, but I wouldn't be surprised if they lose. I just put those guys as a team that I will put on upset alert how do you say it? If one of the 6 teams, they're the ones that have the best chance to lose out of the top 6 this week. But I do think all 6 will win, and I think the college football playoff rankings won't change a bit as far as the top 6 this week. But let me know what y'all think. Appreciate y'all watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share all that good stuff. And I'll see you next time.